In the previous class, we looked at how to create a series of metrics. In this class, we'll learn how to create dimensions. Although we've already had an introduction, we'll cover other concepts to give you a more complete view of how to create additional dimensions. Let's start with an example by adding a new chart. We'll use a table since it's easier to see our dimensions and the changes made to them. We'll make sure the dimension is page title. For the metric, we'll continue working with views. Now, suppose I want to make a classification, specifically creating a dimension that classifies into a series of categories based on the number of views. If they meet a certain number of views, they're classified into a dimension as met, approved, good, or bad. We'll define that next. We'll add a new dimension. To do this, we'll create a field and name it classification. We'll use a concept we learned earlier, case when. So, we start with the clause, case when. Here we'll add two classifications. When views are greater than or equal to 10,000, we'll assign the category good, otherwise the classification will be bad. Let's continue. After the case when clause, we select the metric we want information from, in this case views. We add the condition that views are greater than or equal to 10,000. Then we add the then clause to assign the category value, and in double quotes, we assign the value good. Next, we add an else, and in double quotes, the classification it will take if the previous condition isn't met. In this case, bad. We finish with an end, and that's it. Look at what happens if we check views that exceed 10,000 are indeed classified under the category good, and those that don't are classified as bad. Let's look at another example. We'll do the same classification, but in a different way. I want you to consider it to start understanding conditionals and become familiar with dimension creation. You can also complement this with the class on functions in the filters and regular expressions module. We'll create a field called classification 2. In this case, instead of case when, we'll use the if clause. Here I'll type if. We add the views metric. The statement is greater than or equal to 5,000. We type a comma, and in double quotes type good, indicating it should be classified as good. Then we type another comma, and in double quotes, bad, indicating that if not, it should be classified as bad. Notice the syntax has changed, and it's even quicker. We apply it. See, it now shows that views equal to or greater than 5,000 are classified as good, and others as bad. Let's do another classification example. For this case, we'll create a new field called classification 3. Again, we use the if clause. Within the parentheses, we select the views metric. For this example, we'll define a range. We'll say that if views are between, for instance, 25,000 and 50,000, the classification will be good. To do this, we use the between statement, type 2,500, then the and clause, and the number 5,000. Next, we type a comma, and the classification in double quotes, in this case, good. We type another comma, and the other category, bad, also in double quotes. Done. By implementing this classification, we assume that this range is the best possible classification for views, without going above or below. If they're above 5,000, we'll consider it bad. And if they're below 2,500, we'll also consider it bad. Remember, it's just a hypothetical example. We apply it? Done. You'll see that views exceeding 5,000 are classified as bad, as well as those below 2,500, while views between 2,500 and 5,000 are classified as good. In dimension creation, you can apply many of the formulas and functions we covered in the regular expressions module, depending on your case study.